Welcome to the Toyota Kalahari Botswana 1000 Desert Race, round 3 of the Donaldson Cross Country Championship. The Castrol Team Toyota Hilux pairing of Leroy Poulter and Rob Howie currently enjoy a 19-point cushion at the top of the Production Vehicle Championship.
Well, obviously, it's my second one now coming here, and last year a second. Hopefully we can do one better this year. It's it's a long event, and almost you got to let it come to you and see where you are at the end.
A little bit of pressure from the point of view that I didn't do the race last year, so I don't really know what to expect, but it's Botswana, there's thorn trees in the sand. I think that's pretty much it.
TV personality Marius Roberts is making his third appearance at the event.
It's good to be in Botswana. Apparently this is the race to take part in. A real challenge, 1000 Ks. Looking forward to it.
Taking a look at the production vehicle standings, Leroy Poulter and Rob Howie sit in top spot following their back-to-back victories, while the defending champions Anthony Taylor and Dennis Murphy are tied for second, alongside Lance Woolridge and Ward Huxtable.
Teams are randomly drawn to determine where they will start on the road when qualifying commences on Friday. Anthony Taylor and Dennis Murphy will lead the teams out.
And I think being number one on the road is really, I think, quite good for you. It's a 110 kilometre prologue. Our cars are really good, so it was really a precaution not to catch anyone else in our group. So it's good. I think it's going to be good. You'll see. It's the same for everybody.
Even though there were extremely strong winds throughout Friday's qualifying, it didn't stop the local spectators from coming out in their numbers to support, and Taylor and Murphy didn't disappoint them.
Leroy Poulter and Rob Howie are in a rich vein of form at the moment, and the Castrol Team Toyota Hilux pair picked up where they left off at the Sugarbelt 450 by qualifying in first place. Poulter said that the route was good and that he enjoyed the fast sections.
Having won the last 2 races in Botswana, Taylor and Murphy know what it takes to conquer the grueling desert sand. The pair qualified second, just 16 seconds behind their teammates.
Lance Woolridge and Ward Huxtable said they were having lots of fun out there, and it showed as the duo qualified third in their Ford Performance Ranger.
We go on board with Chris Visser and Jaapie Badenhorst, who seem to be slowing down. The pair make way for the flying Gary Berthold and Siegfried Rousseau, and later revealed that their Ford Performance Ranger was struggling with a lack of power.
There was no such problems for Berthold and Rousseau, who qualified in 4th place in their Atlas Copco Ford Ranger.
Mpumalanga brothers Johan and Werner Horn qualified in 5th place, and after narrowly missing the corner, the Malalan Toyota Hilux is back on its way.
Gareth Woolridge is making his desert race debut, but he's certainly not showing any signs of nerves as he flies through this section.
Jürgen and Max Schroeder qualified in 7th place, just 24 seconds behind Gareth Woolridge and Boyd Dreyer. Having competed in the Toyota Desert Race before on a motorbike, Schroeder was enjoying his first outing in the desert in a production vehicle.
Heini Strumpfer and Henry Hugo in the 4x4 Megawalt Hilux qualified 8th fastest and were first of the Class S entries.
Recapping your qualifying results, it was the Team Castrol Toyota Hiluxes that occupied the top 2 spots, followed by Lance Woolridge and Ward Huxtable. Gary Berthold and Siegfried Rousseau rounded off the top 4.
The stakes are high in the Special Vehicle Championship as former champions Evan Hutchinson and Donnie Stassen and Lance Chithui and Jeff Minott are locked together at the top of the standings.
Big thing here is to finish the race. 1000 kilometers, it's a tough one, and to finish here I think you're going to do well. And first you've got to finish to do well.
The Borshoff brothers are back in a pair of the brand new CRT vehicles developed by Century Racing.
It's a brand new car, new designs. We've done some proper testing and it feels good, and we're quite anxious and see what it can do. So we have done, our preparations is done.
Taking a look at the Special Vehicle stand-ins, it's all square at the top of the leaderboard with Hutchinson and Stassen and Chithui and Minott both on 53 points. Brett Parker and VZ Van Zyl round off the top 3.
Colin Matthews and Rodney Burke are back in their Century Racing CR3 after an outing in the new Century Racing CRT, and after getting the sand flying, the pair are on their way.
Matthews and Burke will be hard to stop in Class P if they are cruising like that. We go on board the Century Racing CR3, and with the high speeds that these vehicles reach, it's difficult to bring them to a stop in the deep and soft sand. But it doesn't take long for them to get back on track.
Evan Hutchison and Dani Stassen in the Motorride Racing Band qualified in second place, just 17 seconds behind Matthews and Burke.
After battling to find his rhythm at first, Jimmy Zahos and Zahir Burhania in the Cobalt Striker had an impressive run and qualified third fastest.
Mark Corbett and Juan Moore are back on pace in the Century CR5 and were going well to set the fourth fastest time in the qualifying race.
Lance Trethui was loving the long straights but later reported that he lost some time stopping for a herd of cattle.
Brett Parker and VZ Van Sale from Sizanani Plastics managed the sixth fastest time, around 5 minutes behind the leaders.
There is plenty of support for local driver Keith DeToy and Robbie Kutsia. DeToy finished on the podium with Keith Solomon in 2013 and he is hoping to do Botswana proud. As we go on board the White Star Bat, you can see just how hard the suspension is working. And oh my, Keith almost puts the vehicle on its side, but he manages to keep it on all four wheels.
Taking a look at the qualifying results, Matthews and Burke lead Hutchison and Stassen by the narrowest of margins, while championship co-leaders Trethui and Minutes sit back in fifth place, 2 minutes and 39 seconds off the lead.
With the 100-kilometer qualifying route complete, the teams got the opportunity to fix any problems that they might have incurred before day 2 of the event.
You know, we pushed really hard and we got to the front, but you know, Anthony's quite close behind us, so I think the next 2 days are going to be quite tough. You know, he's going to obviously push me all the way.
Evan Hutchison qualified second fastest in the Motorride Bat Viper.
Yeah, we're going to race Colin. We're definitely going to keep the pressure on him. I don't know what's happening with the weather here. We've got some rain forecast for tomorrow afternoon and lots of wind, and so we'll play it by ear. We'll see what happens in the morning, and I think we should have ran at the same sort of pace today, so it shouldn't be a problem to sit behind him, and we'll just have to manage the morning and see how it goes.
Day 2 of the Toyota Kalahari Botswana 1000 Desert Race got underway bright and early as the teams made their final adjustments to their vehicles before venturing out on the first of two 225-kilometer loops. Teams would have to make a compulsory 20-minute stop at the end of the first loop at the designated service point.
Taking another look at the starting order for the production vehicles. Poulter and Howie will lead the field out, closely followed by teammates Taylor and Murphy, while in the special vehicle category it's Matthews and Burke, followed by Hutchison and Stassen. And away they go!
It's great to see the heavily packed barriers full of fans who have come out in their thousands to support the competitors today.
Next off the line is Taylor and Murphy, closely followed by Matthews and Burke, the first of the special vehicles. And if you're wondering how you're supposed to drive or see someone in front of you with all of that dust, your guess is as good as mine. That's why they're the professionals.
And after only 30 kilometers, Poulter and Howie are still in the lead and giving these thousands of fans something to cheer about.
Last year's Toyota Desert 1000 winners Taylor and Murphy are keeping the pressure on Poulter and Howie at the sharp end of the field. Meanwhile, Matthews and Burke are leading the way in the special vehicle category in their Century Racing CR3. The pair are showing off a blistering pace in the harsh desert conditions.
Oh no, a slight indiscretion. The Motorride Racing team of Hutchison and Stassen have strayed off course and are making their way back on track. Meanwhile, Lance Woolridge and Ward Huxtable take advantage of the situation and they complete the overtake.
The Ford Performance team are not done yet, and next on their menu is Matthews and Burke, who now have the back of the Ford Ranger to look at, albeit only for a short while before the dust takes over.
Woolridge and Huxtable are now third on the road and the team on the move as they try to close the gap to the two Team Castrol Toyotas ahead of them. Matthews and Burke are still leading the special vehicle pack.
After two non-finishes in the opening 2 rounds of the season, the Atlas Copco Ford Ranger of Berthold and Rousseau are looking good for their first points of the championship.
Well, the weather might be a little chilly, but the racing certainly isn't. Johan and Werner Horn have just made their way past the special vehicle of Hutchison and Stassen, with both teams' sights firmly set on a good performance.
Jimmy Zahos and Zahir Burhania started third in the special vehicle category, but they were soon forced to retire with a blown engine.
One team's misfortune is another team's luck as Mark Corbett and Johan Moore move up one spot following the retirement of Zahos and Burhania. Their Century CR5 is currently second in Class A and is showing off some incredible pace through the desert.
Following a good result at the Sugarbelt 450, Gareth Woolridge and Boyd Dreyer are loving their first outing in the desert.
We go on board the Ford Performance range of Chris Visser and Jaapie Badenhorst. They have caught Heini Strumpfer and Henry Hicho and Jurgen and Max Schroeder, but Visser makes no mistake and gets by both vehicles in one brilliant move.
Trithui and Minute are finding the going tough in the change in conditions, but still hold on to fourth in the special vehicle category.
Flying the flag for their new team, 4x4 Mega World, Strumpfer and Hicho are currently first in Class S. They've managed to make their way past Regent Racing's Jurgen and Max Schroeder, who are currently 8th in Class T.
Brett Parker and VZ Van Sale are keeping the crowds entertained through this section. And this supporter needed not one, but two phones to catch all of the action.
Dion Venter and Jaco van Aert are yet to score points this season, but they are looking strong in second place in Class S. Meanwhile, local driver Keith Tutoy and South African navigator Robbie Coetzee, in their first outing together this season, are enjoying a magnificent race and are currently 5th in the specials.
Rounding off the top 10 in Class T, which caters for cars with engines above 4 litres and independent rear suspension, it's Jason Venter and Vince van Alleman.
Jacques and Lizelle van Tonder in the Unifreight Ford Ranger are having a consistent run, while the pair are really enjoying the faster open sections of desert.
We go on board the Chem Systems Porter of Coetzee and Sandra Labuskaghni, and it looks as though Coetzee is trying to find a different line to overtake the car ahead. While certain sections were open and fast in the desert, some parts of the route were overgrown and technical, which made the navigator's job very difficult.
It was Johan van Staden and Mike Lawrenson that we saw ahead of the Labuskaghnis not too long ago, but both cars have finally found their way back on the fast track.
Terence Marsh and navigator Marius Roberts, in his third appearance in the Imperial Auto Celebrity Challenge, is currently in a respectable 12th place in Class T.
On board with Henny de Klerk and Johan Smalberger as they close in on the Regent Racing Nissan Navara, Terence Marsh doesn't make life difficult for the RFS BMW X3 to complete the pass.
Now in its 4th season, the Celebrity Challenge gives celebs from the sports and entertainment worlds the opportunity to experience firsthand the adventure and excitement of the Donaldson Cross Country Championship. Marius looks cool, calm and collected.
We lost oil pressure in the motor and we blew the engine at about 35 k's in on the long straights. And that was the end of that. We were lying quite well, we were lying third at the time, and that's the end of it.
Taking a look at the current positions at the 130-kilometre mark, Poulter and Howie have a narrow lead over teammates Taylor and Murphy, while Woolridge and Huxtable are still holding on to 3rd spot.
Over on the special vehicle standings, Matthews and Burke still lead the way ahead of Hutchinson and Stassen, while Corbett and Moore round off the top 3.
It's been smooth sailing for the championship leaders who haven't put a foot wrong today.
And if they do by any chance make a mistake, Taylor and Murphy will be there to pick up the pieces.
Can Woolridge and Huxtable close the gap to the flying Team Castrol Toyotas? Only time will tell.
Matthews and Burke are reveling in the challenging conditions, and they lead the Special Vehicle Brigade.
It certainly has been an encouraging performance for Berthold and Rousseau, who are holding on to 4th place in Class T.
Hutchinson and Stassen are fighting hard to catch the men in front and are closing the gap as we speak, while Corbett and Moore are in 2nd place in Class A behind the Motorrad Bat Viper.
After starting the day down in 10th position in the production vehicle category, Chris Visser and Jaapie Badenhorst are driving like men on a mission. They've already clawed their way up to 5th place in Class T. And as we go live on board with the former champs, they pick up another position on the road after overtaking Trethewey and Minute.
Although the LTE bat doesn't put up too much of a fight with the production vehicle as they concentrate on their own race.
It looks as though Woolridge and Dreyer are slowing down. Perhaps they have a problem. Oh no, wait, it's the Flying Strumpfer and Hicho who are given a gap to overtake by the Neil Woolridge Motorsport Ford Ranger.
Jürgen and Max Schroeder have been enjoying a really clean run, but they are being kept honest by Parker and Van Zyl from Cincinnati Plastics, who are close behind.
Currently second in Class S, which is for vehicles with up to 4-litre engines and solid axle rear suspension, is Dion Venter and Jaco van Aert in the 4x4 Mega World Toyota.
It's been a solid performance so far for De Toy and Coetzee. The White Star Bat is in 6th place in the special vehicle category.
The Van Tonders are looking good for a top 10 finish and have been extremely consistent since their step up to Class T this year.
Taylor and Murphy are taking the fight to Poulter and Howie in an absolutely enthralling battle. Taylor sees an opportunity to make a move on their teammates. They pull up alongside. Oh my, something's got to give. The two aren't backing down at all, giving the Masscom spectator point the best seat in the house.
Wow, now that was close. Poulter and Howie just hold on to first as the teams arrive at the compulsory 20-minute designated service point.
I think Leroy made a wrong slot, and then the one section we were a bit quicker than him, and that's where we had a hell of a dice. We were actually next to him a couple of times, but just not enough to get past. But yeah.
Ford Performance are working hard to try and catch the Team Castrol Toyotas.
Yeah, we've been pushing hard. We got past Evan in about the first 40 Ks, and then we were sitting behind Colin for about 20 Ks, and he made a mistake. We passed him as well, and we've just been pushing really, really hard to catch the Toyotas now.
So the results from the opening loop look like this. Poulter and Howie have the smallest of leads ahead of the defending champions Taylor and Murphy, while Woolridge and Huxtable are third.
And now over to the special vehicles.
Going great, having a lovely run. Lots of fun, lots of spectators, proper desert race, lovely, enjoying every minute of it.
The tyre pressures were a little bit hard on the car now, so we've dropped them. The marking's good, it's a good race. We're a little bit behind now, so I think we need to push a bit this lap to catch up, and then hopefully we get in the mix for tomorrow.
Taking a look at Loop 1's results from the special vehicle category. Matthews and Burke have a healthy lead over Hutchinson and Stassen, while Corbett and Moore occupy third spot.
Leroy Poulter and Rob Howie had no complaints at DSP and said they were enjoying the fast route, and it shows as we watch Poulter power slide his Toyota Hilux across the terrain.
It's been neck and neck between the two Castrol Team Toyota teammates, but Taylor and Murphy just haven't been able to make an overtake stick.
What has happened to Woolridge and Huxtable? The Atlas Copco Ford Ranger of Berthold and Rousseau is now in a podium position.
Colin Matthews said how much he was loving the hundreds of spectators all around the course, and ever the showman, he gave the fans exactly what they wanted. Hutchinson and Stassen are closing in on the Century Racing CR3 in the battle for first place in the specials.
As we go on board with the Motorride pair, they are now literally on the tail of Matthews and Burke, who sportingly move over for the faster Class A vehicle, which means the Motorride Racing team are now in the lead.
Corbett and Moore are still in third even after they damaged their windscreen after sliding into a tree.
Visser and Badenhorst were momentarily in fourth place, but a broken rear left hub 70 kilometers from the finish dropped them out of contention.
Trethewey and Minute are in fourth place in the specials. Meanwhile, having an outstanding performance so far, Heini Strumpfer and Henry Hicho are cruising in first place in Class S and 6th overall.
Gareth Woolridge and Boyd Dreyer lost brakes 50 kilometers from the DSP but managed to fix the problem before heading out on Loop 2.
The Schroeders had an unfortunate clash with Parker and Van Zyl, which broke off both spare wheels, but they were able to make running repairs and continue with their race.
Venter and Van Aert lost the use of their GPS at one stage but managed to get it sorted. The 4x4 Mega World boys are second in Class S behind their teammates, enjoying the local Toyota support.
With the Toyota Desert Race being the only marathon round on the calendar, teams need to ensure that they make the perfect balance between going fast and staying out of trouble in the demanding conditions if they want to make it to the finish line of this iconic event. Keith Du Toit and Robbie Coetzee are struggling with a slip in clutch, but they are able to keep going.
We go on board the Unifreight Ford Ranger of the Van Tonders, who are closing in on the car ahead. Can they get close enough?
Jason Venter and Vince van Alleman are enjoying a clean run. The only problem they had was a puncture at the end of the opening loop.
We have finally found Woolwich and Huxtable. The Ford Performance team reported a broken drive shaft which reduced their car to front-wheel drive only.
It looks as though it's going to be very difficult to stop Poulter and Howie. Taylor and Murphy are keeping their teammates as honest as possible in second, while Berthold and Rousseau are in third place.
In the special vehicle category, Hutchison and Stassen are still narrowly ahead of Matthews and Burke, while Corbett and Moore round off the final podium position.
With just 20 kilometers left on the second loop, the two Castrol Team Toyotas are in a league of their own. With double points up for grabs in the only marathon round of the season, it looks like it's going to be maximum points for the championship leader, barring any major problems.
Evan Hutchison and Dani Stassen are also primed to take the victory in the special vehicle category. But, oh no! It almost ends in tears for the Motorride racing team as they collide with the Atlas Copco Ford Ranger of Gary Berthold and Siegfried Rousseau. And it looks as though Evan had a real problem with slowing his vehicle down in the loose desert sand. No matter though, as both cars are able to continue towards the finish line, with the Motorride pair gaining another position on the road.
Wow, that was really cutting things fine so close to the end of the race, but all's well that ends well for Evan Hutchinson and Dani Stassen.
Matthews and Burke are currently first in Class P and second overall. Matthews almost makes a complete hash of this corner as his Century Racing CR3 decides it wants to play in the sandpit, not drive through it, but he is quickly back on track.
Luckily for Berthold and Rousseau, they only suffered cosmetic damage in the tangle with Hutchinson and Stassen. The Atlas Copco team are in real danger of losing another position on the road to Mark Corbett and Jean Moore, who make light work of the deep and treacherous desert sand.
Well, the sandy terrain is making life a little difficult for Truthui and Minute, but they managed to move along swiftly without too many problems.
It's been a trouble-free race so far for Strumpfer and Hicho, who have some local knowledge of the landscape as the pair hail from Freiburg, which boasts similar conditions. But they are being pushed all the way to the line by desert rookies Gareth Woolridge and Boyd Dreyer, who are having one of the standout drives of the day so far.
Jürgen and Max Schroeder are still running just ahead of Brad Parker and VZ van Sale. The pair of vehicles have not been too far apart since the start of the second loop.
The spectators are loving the brilliant racing, and Venter and Van Alleman are happy to put on a show through the sand.
After being stuck behind the Van Tonders for approximately 80 kilometers, the Horn brothers finally made it past the Unifreight Ford Ranger. Jacques and Lizelle didn't make it easy though and kept chasing the Mullenland Toyota all the way to the finish.
Johan van Staden and Mike Lawrenson are running in 10th, but a late puncture would see them drop down a position before the finish. Meanwhile, Keith Du Toit and Robbie Coetzee are still limping their car to the finish with their clutch that keeps slipping.
Keith Macanetti and Moalosi Barotto just gave these fans a full face of dirt, which they seem to enjoy. Not too far behind them are Cyril van Biljon and Philip Hasselman in the Atlas Copco Bat Spec 5.
Nothing has been slowing down Terence Marsh and Marius Roberts one bit, and even though their region racing Nissan Navara is carrying some battle scars from the unforgiving and challenging Botswana desert, the pair continue to fight hard.
The Portuguese duo of Romulo Bronco and João Saradio have kept their noses clean the entire race and are looking good for third place in Class S.
After such enthralling and spectacular racing, we'll surely be treated to another outstanding action-packed race on day 3.
I think we surprised ourselves. We came to Desert hoping to get a top 5, and so far we're lying 4th Class T, 5th production, so we had a good day. We're hoping to keep it there tomorrow, but we never know what stands in store.
Ken Strumpfer and Hicho hold on to first place in Class S.
Ons lê goed, ons lê so ver voor in die klas en vierde bakkie. Ons goeie dag gehad. Geen papwiele nie. Alles vir ons goed verloop vandag.
After an exhilarating 2 days of racing, can Poulter and Howie hold off the challenge from Taylor and Murphy? Will Berthalter and Rousseau be able to challenge for the victory, or can Ford Performance outsmart them all?
All the teams are already hard at work preparing for day 3.
Yeah, we had a good day racing. It was very tight out here in the bush. And as the day went on, the roads obviously opened up because the more cars been through. But it was very tight, and when you can see from the bodywork in our car, I think most of it stayed out there.
It was Evan Hutchinson and Donnie Stassen who took maximum points in the special vehicle category. But will they be able to defend their lead from Matthews and Burke, or can Corbett and Moore throw a spanner in the works?
In the Imperial Auto Celebrity Challenge, Marius Roberts, alongside his driver Terence Marsh, finished the day in 10th place in Class T.
It's been an unbelievable experience. The crowd is just amazing. The roads are lined with them taking photographs. That's something that is new. So really enjoyed that. But I think a couple of them have a death wish because they leave it to the last minute to step out the way. But amazing day.
Make sure that you don't miss a minute of what promises to be a breathtaking finish to the Toyota Kalahari Botswana 1000 Desert Race.
The Donaldson Filtration Systems, a market leader in filtration solutions for the past 100 years.